GFM Tunica Memphis and WPGFLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Very pleasant Friday, November 8th to you. Dave Woloshin not with us today. He will be courtside at FedEx Forum tonight calling game number 2 of what we think will be this magic carpet ride season for the Memphis men's basketball Tigers team. Drew Barrett back in our Family Leisure Studios. I'm Brett Norsworthy in Oxford. Last time for me this year to join from Oxford. Next Friday I got to take that day off. I cannot be with us, with y'all next Friday. So this is the last football Friday for me from Oxford, as this season, after this weekend, sadly only has 3 more playing dates of the regular season, and a lot of open dates still left for people to take in the 2 open date season. The Tigers taking one this weekend, Ole Miss with another one in 2 weeks after New Mexico State, LSU next week, and then the open date the weekend of Saturday the 23rd. That will be the day of the Ole Miss Memphis men's basketball game at FedEx Forum. Speaking of Ole Miss basketball, tonight at 5:30, we're out early as we join David Kellum and Mark Dukes courtside at the Pavilion for Ole Miss basketball's opening night game tonight against Arkansas State University. You can hear that starting at 5:30 with the tip at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow afternoon, I will be in the Grove. We come on the air at 1 o'clock with kickoff at 3 o'clock against New Mexico State. And there will be a thin crowd tomorrow in Oxford. We know that. But it also will be Military Appreciation Day, and that's always a festive, fun day. I've told people, and I'm serious about it. Look, I understand people that aren't going to the game tomorrow and aren't going to college football games this year. It's very difficult for people to go to 5 and 6 and 7 games a year. But we only get to do it in Oxford, in the Grove, 7 times a year, and tomorrow is the 6th and next to last time, so I'm looking forward to it very much, and a chance to win tomorrow. And Ole Miss, they know what they face the next few weeks. They got to win out. They've got to beat New Mexico State tomorrow, LSU next Saturday, and on Thanksgiving night in the battle for the Golden Egg. So really tall task ahead for the Rebels the rest of this year. Tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. If you're going, I suggest you leave now. Traffic in Tuscaloosa can be a bear on the 17th of June. It really will be tomorrow with the President of the United States in town and game day and SEC Nation and CBS and just about everybody that covers college football there tomorrow. Over 600 credentials will be issued tomorrow. I don't know where they're going to put them all. There are going to be a lot of people that are normally sitting that will be standing, and some maybe in auxiliary media a long way from the action. But tomorrow in Tuscaloosa will be quite a scene, and we know what's involved. The winner of that game will be number 1 ranked next week when the CFP is released. LSU, they were second this week. Ohio State won. Ohio State with issues of their own, and it's a shame for them in this year they're having. Number 1 last week by the CFP committee. I think with most eyeball tests, number 1, Chase Young won't play tomorrow in the game against Maryland over an issue last year. And that's unfortunate for Ohio State and their fans having this dream season. And I believe everything I'm reading so far about this story, but I just want to warn out there. I no clue whatsoever, no suspicions at all around this story, but we're already seeing a lot of eligibility issues and players deciding to do other things, whether it's missing team meetings, if indeed they did. I'm just telling you right now, with the way it is out there are a lot of people that don't want to play. I think Chase Young does. Again, it's not this case I'm talking about. I'm just warning you, when you see headline now, and especially running up to the bowls, about any team, about any player, that their eligibility is at issue or their bond with the team is at issue. There are a lot of guys, and I cannot blame them. I cannot blame them. If you're a senior, if you're a junior, if you're a third-year sophomore, you're really close to a lot of potential big life-changing money. I know it's antithetical to a lot of us that have come through team, groupthink and formats and learning and indoctrination through the years. But we are in different times now. We're in different times on the transfer rules and on playing 4 games and not losing and still being able to have 4 years left. And even when you get down the road like Derek King at Houston, I don't like what Houston's doing. I think it's kind of a loser mindset. I really do. But I can't blame. I don't know if I can really blame Dana Holgorsen because he wants to win down the road. This year was not the go-for year with everybody in place. Now, is it fair for him what he's doing to guys out of eligibility? No, it's not at all. But we are in a new world in college sports, both on the ability of them being paid, the potential of them being paid even more than cost of attendance, more than what they already get, which in the real world is substantial, but to them and the profits made by college football, it's nothing. But these times are a-changing, and you're going to see a lot of headlines over the next few weeks, and I just warn you to be a little bit skeptical and a little bit dubious. Here was a headline I didn't think I would see, but we did talk about this, Drew, when Coach Penny Hardaway took over as head coach of the Memphis Tigers. When would it ever be done in college football? A former great player. A lot of times the former greats really don't want to be the head coach because, like Coach Penny Hardaway, he was very set financially. He did not have to do this.
And you don't want to ruin that free bar tab the rest of your life.
That's exactly right. Once you become that coach, it changes. It changes with everybody. We've seen it at every place in and around the area and just about every sport. That player that you wouldn't dream could fall out of favor with the locals, with the alums, with the, hey superstar, let me take care of this for you. They did, and we could go through them. And we talked about how come it had never happened in football. And I know I gave this example of how very close Ohio State got to hiring Chris Spielman. And I don't know if it was when it was when Tressel took over or the Tressel opening, but somewhere in those years, it got really close that Ohio State was going to hire Chris Spielman with basically no coaching experience. Now today, the headline of Florida State and one of the greats of the greats, Deion Sanders. I mean, just one of the great college and pro players to ever play. And he was, I don't know which one he was better in. I guess the pros, because it was more years and a couple of different teams. But he was just outstanding in college. I mean, just the definition of shutdown defensive back and what he did in the return game, and now the possibility that he might be the head coach at Florida State. I think it is harder in football because I think coaching football is harder than coaching basketball. Now, wait a second before you freak out with me saying that. It's just a simple, I think, a numbers game that makes it harder because you have so many more moving parts in football, 11 versus 5. 22 on the field versus 10. That's where I think it is easier to coach basketball rather than football. The very idea of a game with 10 on the floor and 5 on your team, the difference one guy can make, and for sure 2. It takes more than that in college football. Sometimes not that much more. I mean, if you can get 3 or 4 legit 4 or 5 stars on each side, so 6 out of your starting 22, it can really make a world of difference. And we saw it in 2013, 14, and 15 with Ole Miss with the 5 stars.
Yeah, and I agree with you that it is a lot harder for a great
I didn't
football.
say a lot harder.
Well,
I said hard.
I actually do think it's a lot harder because while we look at Penny Hardaway and how great of a player he was, not just here at Memphis, but in the pros, it's a lot easier for a guy like that who's used to having the ball in his hand to teach a guy how to back somebody down or hold their own down in the post rather than a guy like Deion Sanders. While I'm sure he knows everything there is to know about being a defensive back, that could probably translate over onto the other side of the ball as a wide receiver. But how well is he going to be able to teach a defensive tackle? How well is he going to be able to coach up an outside linebacker? How well is he going to be able to coach up that left guard, something that he's never done, and it doesn't translate as well as Penny, being a point guard, to teaching a center how to do his own thing. It's just it's way too many different moving parts.
It's a lot, and then you bring in special teams. I mentioned Deion Sanders was a prolific special teams player in the return game. Now I do think the pressure's pressure, but I do think the in-game, on game day, game night, the pressure of being a basketball coach is more intense than that on game day, on the sideline, standing over there with your team like a football or basketball coach like they do. I think it's more on the basketball coach for this reason. You're in a more confined area, and you're a little more prominently displayed. Unless the TV cameras catch the head football coach, if you're at a football game, you're most concentrated powers on the game action. I know sometimes you do, but how often do you glance over there? Oh, let me see Coach so-and-so's reaction to that. Not that much. In basketball, your eyes, a lot of times, mine and I think others, go to the coach to see reaction to a play, reaction to a call, and the literal bandbox at a lot of places, like in Memphis, and I say this lovingly, hey, the Bird brothers know everything about you when you show up. There's no guy sitting behind that college football bench that can really get on Ed Orgeron tomorrow at Bryant-Denny.
No, there's no play. There's some place there where Ed Orgeron can hide within the crowd. When you're a college basketball coach, and especially you're the only one standing up. You're exactly right out there on the court. There's no way to hide amongst your assistants like you can in football. So it does bring a lot more pressure to where everybody is looking at you, and it's harder to kind of divvy that up against where in football you can kind of divvy it up with your OC and your DC. In basketball, it's all on you, buddy.
It's all on you. It's all on you. And in football, you got the guys literally up in the press box with the better view, kind of charting things for you. You don't have that in basketball. It's kind of a man on an island with the grease board to draw up a make or stop with 20 seconds play. So while I think one's harder, one's a little more pressure packed, but they're both plenty hard. They're both pressure packed. We'll see how it plays out for Deion Sanders for prime time at Florida State, and a lot of people weighing in. I love John Harden's take on LeBron James weighing in. You can visit with us at 67129 at the First Bank text line or the First Bank phone line 360-8255. Again, Dave's out today. He's getting ready for the Tigers and UIC. Drew, UIC is about the only team in Chicago Dave hadn't turned on lately, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if it gets any worse, he might turn on Sister Jean. At Loyola.
He has. Loyola, Chicago State, DePaul, Bears, Cubs, White Sox. UIC's about the only one he hadn't, and he will after the Tigers crush them tonight. Again, 67129 at the First Bank text line, 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. And First Bank, they're there to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. They can. Stop into one of the branches today, the branch on Poplar near International Paper in Germantown, the one near Wolf Chase, or the one on Highway 64 in Oakland. And always you can check with them online or check them out always online at firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. Drew Barrett in our Family Leisure Studios. I'm in Oxford getting ready for Ole Miss and New Mexico State, and we've got a busy show. At the bottom of this hour, we will visit with Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet, who was cooking with hot grease for a few weeks. It has cooled off the last few weeks. He's very aware of it, but he's trying to get hot again and close strong. About 3:50, we'll visit with John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. They have Jeremy Pruitt there on Monday night, and it's a big game this weekend for the Tennessee Vols against Kentucky. Tennessee, a slim underdog. I heard John Harden loving that game. I love it as well. We'll visit with John David Bedour about the Memphis Touchdown Club and Coach Jeremy Pruitt from Tennessee being here on Monday night at the Hilton at 4 o'clock. We visit with Peter Edmiston from The Experience and The Athletic on all things Grizzlies and the NBA. At 4:30, Glenn Rogers on the high school football scene, MUS, and some of the private schools open date this weekend for their playoffs, but public schools, TSSAA, getting going, and some in the private schools. There's some buys this week. We'll visit with Glenn about the schedule tonight and the playoffs ahead at 5 o'clock because we have to get out a little early today. We've got to get out at 5:30. We'll have our Friday football forecast a little bit after 5 o'clock, and we'll wrap it up about 5:20 or so with Taco Bell Crunch Time. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all the 2020 models, and they have just about taken over with the 2020s. A few remaining 2019s, and always special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus, too. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Number 1 versus number 2 in the AP. You know, haven't we transitioned to where after we get that first CFP, that's kind of the benchmark?
Yeah, that's where we go.
I think that's where we should go, but I still do love the AP. I love Ralph Russo, oldest news gathering entity in the United States. So that's where they're 1 versus 2, but they are not at the CFP. But the winner will probably be number 1 next week. LSU and Bama. Tua versus Joe Burrow. That's for the Heisman, isn't it? Nick Saban versus Ed Orgeron. That's for the SEC West, isn't it? What really didn't fit there? Joe Burrow? No?
I think Ed Orgeron, kind of, when you really sit back and think about all of his interim stints and stint at Ole Miss. But then again, I mean, how hard is it to really win at LSU? I think anybody with half a brain can kind of do it if they get the right enough staff around them.
I've said that, but I remember Curly Holman. I remember Jerry DiNardo. I remember Mike Archer. A lot of people, I have been very guilty of that through the years of about anybody can win there. But he has mostly won, and that's why tomorrow in the top story, this is Ed Orgeron's moment. No more interim, no more placeholder, kind of no more made man. Really, he can prove tomorrow that he's not just a screamer and a recruiter and, you know, a guy that vaulted from the strength room to the elite. And a win here, and Ed Orgeron can go to New York City as the head coach of a potential Heisman Trophy winner. No pressure at all there, is it? And we know through the years, how Ed Orgeron has handled pressure. You got a top story?
Yes, I do. My top story, you touched on it earlier. Ohio State defensive end Chase Young is being held out this weekend against Maryland because of the potential undisclosed violations of NCAA rules. Young tweeted today that he accepted a loan from a family friend and is in the process of working with Ohio State and the NCAA to be able to play again. Young has had one of the best defensive seasons in recent college football history. He currently has 29 tackles, 13.5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles, and is on kind of a lot of people's short list for the Heisman, which is something incredible for a defensive player in the first place to do.
You've got a couple of guys at Ohio State that are going to pull votes from the other ones that there's probably no chance for any of them to win it. Really good player, and you know who doesn't care anything about all this? That team that's going to call his name in Las Vegas at the draft about 4th or 5th pick overall next spring. They don't care all this. In fact, they would kind of like it. Him be shelved a little bit, and those knees and those ankles and those shoulders never injured again. Not top story.
Not top story of the day.
Game day in T-Town. It's time for Tuscaloosa to show out for game day. Look, we saw it last week in Memphis. We saw it in the Dakotas. Both places were more excited to have it. And at Tuscaloosa, it was really down to Minneapolis for Minnesota and Penn State, or to have it in Tuscaloosa. They went with 1 versus 2. And now, because everyone, maybe even including Bama fans, with a little bit of a Bama fatigue syndrome, a little bit of a game day fatigue, it will be a test for Tuscaloosa and Bama on and off the field tomorrow. I'm not saying tomorrow ends anything if Alabama loses tomorrow, but it may mark the beginning of the next chapter, and that chapter cannot be like the last 11 years. You're not top story.
My not top story of the day, Nike is investigating allegations by former mid-distance runner Mary Kane that she suffered physical and mental abuse as a member of the Nike Oregon Project. Kane told the New York Times that she was pressured to become thinner and thinner and thinner when she was part of the Oregon Project. She said she was publicly shamed in front of her teammates if she didn't hit her weight target. Also said due to the stress from the weight loss, she broke 5 bones during the time she was pressured to lose the weight. She said she also had suicidal thoughts and also began physically harming herself. She ultimately did leave the Oregon Project in 2015, but this is just a terrible, terrible story, especially for somebody with so much talent who in 2013 became one of the youngest track stars in the history of America at 17.
There's a price to be paid, and sometimes that price is a very expensive one, in this case a very sad one. 360-8255. Let's go to the phones. Brandon wants to weigh in about prime time at Florida State. Brandon, good afternoon.
Good evening, fella.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Real quickly, I heard a comment about how Deion would relate to the offensive tackle and defensive end. Well, what position did Dabo Sweeney play? Nick Saban. You get
walk-on wide receiver
and all of that. Yeah, but
that's right.
I mean, how does he relate to those defensive end and all those defensive tackles that he get that goes, high in the draft? I just think if he gets there and whomever gets good coordinators, he can handle it from there. I mean, Florida State, you can walk down the road and get 2 or 3 good defensive tackles.
That is very true. And Brandon, that is a question mark really for every coach. That's kind of his specialty is offense. How will he do on the defensive side and vice versa? But for a guy with really, other than youth football, and I don't want to diminish that because there are plenty of good coaches out there doing that, and I think a good coach is a good coach is a good coach. But that step up from really not even East High School like Coach Hardaway had, compared to Deion Sanders, it would be bold, and it'd be a lot of pressure, and you would just wonder how interested he would stay in it if it didn't start out really good. But it'll be something we'll track and see. And
it's going to be fun.
FSU will be a big domino.
It's going to be fun. I mean, you have prime time as the head coach of Florida State. Regardless of how well it transitions onto the field, he's going to put on a show.
I can tell you right now who doesn't want to see him hired at FSU, especially for the first 1 or 2 recruiting cycles. And that's going to be Dan Mullen at Florida and Manny Diaz at the U and the other coaches in the state of Florida. With Josh Heupel at UCF, he will clean up, especially early on, very similar to Coach Hardaway. But Coach Hardaway had shown before he cleaned up in a recruiting class that he had won state championships. I know, state championship, that's more than prime time. And Coach Hardaway did have a successful first year that went to an NIT. When we come back, we visit with Bruce Marshall from the Goal Sheet. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Drew Barrett on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is. It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail. So you get the haircut you want, and, of course, you're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the tea tree experience is. 1 part invigorating, 1 part relaxing. The tea tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts. The Man Cave sales happening now at Family Leisure. 3-piece theater seating sets, only $9.99. Massage chairs, starting at $6.99. Pool tables, now at $14.99. And shuffleboard tables, well, they start at $19.99. Still need to close your pool down? Call Family Leisure to get on the schedule. Mention this ad, $20 off. Complete your Man Cave today at Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-542-7711. 800-542-7711. 800-542-7711.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week, joining John and I in studio will be former Memphis Tiger Kerry Cobb, along with some surprise special guests as we're coming off the bye week and we get you ready for the AAC West matchup against Houston.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We'll have to get Bruce Marshall's thoughts on Tigers basketball tonight against UIC. The Flames, 18-point favorite. The Tigers installed by the Boys in the Desert in my best Brent Musburger imitation after blasting South Carolina State on opening night in a fun, festive atmosphere. I expect the very same thing every home game. And tonight, with it being a Friday night, look, just show up with half the game, Tiger fans, as you did for game day, and it'll blow it out tonight. It'll be fun. Dave will be back with us on Monday when he is in Oregon before the first real big test of the year on Tuesday night for the Tigers against the Oregon Ducks at the Moda Center in the Phil Knight Invitational in Portland. That's on Tuesday night. Dave will be with us on Monday. They travel out on Sunday with no football this weekend. Boy, the crossover, it is hit. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet joins us every Friday at this time, and it is a real treat to speak with Bruce on all subjects. Bruce, another number one versus number two. You and the Gold Sheet have seen many of them.
Yeah, we have, Brett. We wrote about it this week, and although this silly bowl poll kind of messed that up just a bit, but, you know, they put Ohio State number one like I thought they might do. But when we wrote this, it was still 1 and 2 Alabama, LSU, and still the wire service polls. One of the AP still has LSU slightly on top, and coaches have Alabama, so we can still call it a 1 versus 2. But I write about the history of it since we started publishing Gold Sheet in 1957. I think there have been 46 games. It's like 23-22 for the favoring the number one team, so it's as close as you can get. We got one. Remarkably between the number ones and number two. Then I write a little bit about the first LSU-Alabama game, when they had a grandstand.
Yeah, Bruce, you broke up.
They played that game.
You're breaking up just a little. You're breaking up just a little bit on us. If you could get to a good cell area and stay there. You broke up just a little bit on us when you were telling us about the history of ones versus twos, and it is a long and glorious history in college football's 150 years. Let's start there. Let's start with 1 versus 2. Alabama's a 6.5 point favorite. Your breakdown of that game in Tuscaloosa tomorrow at 2:30 on CBS.
Yeah, you know, it's 8 straight for Alabama, as we all know. And I think, you know, the loser of this thing is hardly out of the Final Four. And, in fact, Alabama, strangely, might be at a little bit more risk if it loses than LSU because it can still lose the SEC title game and it's even though it lost you, the non-conference schedule and even the schedule overall hasn't been quite as good for Bama, so they might end up looking at those things. But I don't think Bama's going to lose here. I think Tua is going to play. I have a hard time believing that Coach O is actually going to beat Nick Saban one of these games. We saw Auburn kind of slow down LSU a few weeks ago. They did a decent job. Now, LSU is going to have to trade points with Alabama. I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep pace. They did it against Texas earlier. Alabama's better than Texas. Tua and that offense, this is Nick's best offense. I don't think it's his best defense he's got there. He's had to play a lot of freshmen, but they haven't had a game closer than 19. Yeah, I know this is their toughest test, but they've won a lot more of these big games with Saban than LSU has with Orgeron. I think that's going to make a little bit of a difference here. 41-30. We're taking Alabama. We're also thinking over the total. I saw 62.5, 63. It is creeping up slowly. I think it's going to probably get to around 65. I don't think that's high. The points scored. Just most of them will be Alabama. And this, by the way, could be round one of round two. Just have to wait to see.
It sure could be. 41-30, so this will not look anything like the 2011 game of the century in Tuscaloosa that LSU won in overtime 9-6. You say Bama covers this point spread, and they go over the posted Vegas total with the Tide winning 41-30. I'm with you. I've got a C, and it may happen. I'll watch and keep up with it tomorrow, and then I'll address that on Monday. I got a C. Ed Orgeron beat Nick Saban at Bryant-Denny Stadium to believe it. If game day wasn't at LSU Bama, they probably would have been in Minneapolis for P.J. Fleck and the Golden Gophers hosting Penn State. Your thoughts on Penn State minus 6.5 over P.J. Fleck's Golden Gophers in the Big Ten tomorrow?
Well, one thing about P.J. Fleck, I think he could be in play for one of these big jobs that's opening up, and maybe even SC. Wives have a lot to do with where these coaches end up going, and I would bet you Fleck's wife would not mind going to L.A. I have seen her, and I bet she wouldn't mind it. And PJ does whatever she says. So just keep that in mind, what's coming up. I think Minnesota's got a shot here. They're sort of the Big Ten version of Baylor. The schedule's broken pretty well. But, cornball as Fleck is, he's got his guys playing like wild men. That defense swarms. They're ranked nationally. Yeah, the schedule hasn't been super taxing, but they're getting better like every week. Morgan, the quarterback, is a really nice playmaker. They've got balance. And frankly, I'm still needing a little bit more convincing on Penn State. I am not sure how great some of these Big Ten teams they've been beating, and it was not easy against Iowa. It was not easy against Michigan. The Pitt game was not easy. Michigan State, forget that one. Michigan State's not that good. They have been gaining. Their offense is under 300 yards per game the last three. That's not great. And I'm just not sure they're going to be able to go in here and handle this spread or even win. Minnesota got something going here, and they might carry this a little bit deeper into November and have a chance to shake up the rankings here. 26-21, Golden Gophers. That's a Gold Sheet Key release. We're calling the upset tomorrow in Minneapolis.
Golden Gophers. Boy, not since Paul Gill has the Golden Gophers been this beloved, have they?
I know. Some of those Murray Warmath teams in the 60s maybe, but this is rarefied air for Minnesota. And, the Gophers have still only been to the Rose Bowl once in their life. And in that year, they needed Ohio State, twice in the early 60s. They went back-to-back years because the Big Ten technically was out of contract with the Rose Bowl in the 61 season. So, but it's been 58 years since Minnesota's been to Pasadena. Who knows?
And Bruce,
this could be the year.
I know you know it with Murray Warmath with a background with the University of Memphis. A must-win tomorrow in our area. If Chad Morris ever needed a win, he needs it tomorrow in Fayetteville. Arkansas against Western Kentucky. The better coach might be Tyson Helton on the other side of the field. The better quarterback may be on the other side of the field that used to be on the other side of the field in Ty Story. Razorbacks need a win, any old kind of win against Western Kentucky. What's the goal sheet think about this one?
Yeah, and Ty Story, that's an interesting angle here. Ex-Arkansas, he's found a home there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Western Kentucky. Tyson Helton, he's doing better shape than his brother is right now as a head coach, and he's suddenly got a market for his services. He's a little bit more outgoing than Clay. and his team has rallied pretty nicely here. But the story is on the Arkansas side. Chad Morris, listen, I think Arkansas fans were willing to be patient with Chad Morris. They are not willing to be embarrassed, and that's what's happening. When you get home games against North Texas and San Jose State in non-conference and lose them both, when you almost lose a home game to Portland State, and when you're ready to complete your second year without a win in the SEC yet, and oh, by the way, you get embarrassed last week by Mississippi State, which had been struggling coming in. Listen, if Arkansas don't win this game tomorrow, Brett, I'm not sure Morris is there when they play LSU in 2 weeks. They got a bye coming up, and the War Drums are beaten in Fayetteville. This team isn't firing. None of these quarterbacks are doing what they should, and the better team might be the one getting a couple points here. 30-24 Western Kentucky. Hey, if San Jose can go in there and win, so can the Hilltops.
30-24 Goal Sheet picks Western Kentucky in the upset and the career ender for Chad Morris. Bruce, if they lose by 1, I don't think he makes it to 6 o'clock tomorrow night for some of the reasons you listed. The open date, I do. From what I hear, though, they're having trouble with exactly who to shepherd them through the last weeks. What of that? I mean, why would you get that balled up in that? If you decided he needed to be fired, I mean, you could make Stephen Jones the interim head coach. Who cares?
Or Jerry coach him against LSU. I'm sure he'd take that mantle on himself.
He'd love
to. So we'll see.
Western Kentucky straight up 30-24 over the Razorbacks. Tennessee and Kentucky in a game that we know who's controlled it historically. It's been Tennessee, and also both of these teams now working their way into the bowl picture. And we know at this time of year, every win you have, it gets a little bit warmer, or the prospect of a roof over your head at a bowl. Tennessee and Kentucky tomorrow in Lexington at 6:30 on SEC Network.
Yeah, interesting game, and there's some sidebar things going on. Just keep an eye on this. They're a little uncomfortable at Lexington now that this Florida State job is open. It had been rumored for a while that Mark Stoops is very happy in Lexington, but if Florida State ever opened up, that's where he came when he was on Jimbo's staff up to Lexington a few years ago. He might look really hard. Last time we checked, that thing is open now in Florida State, so we'll see what goes on there. Keep an eye on that situation. And Jeremy Pruitt has done a really nice job, and I was a harsh critic of his early in the season, but they have played well. They've won some games. They've covered 4 in a row, and they're playing much better. I think the story here is Lynn Bowden on the side of Kentucky, though, at quarterback. I was watching after the Arkansas game, which is kind of close, but Kentucky won a few weeks ago, and Gene Chizik was on the SEC Network, and he said there's no way they stick with Bowden at quarterback. And I was wondering then, I said, why wouldn't they? The guy's kind of a playmaker, and I know they brought in Sawyer Smith, the transfer from Troy, but he's not that mobile. Bowden looks better than Terry Wilson, the original starter, and he really looked good the game last time against Missouri in there. And he has given an interesting dimension to this offense now. He can run so well, and he's improved his passing just enough that I think they got a shot. I know it has been a Tennessee series, like you said. In fact, since Derek Claiborne beat Johnny Majors in '84, Kentucky has won twice in 35 years in this series. It's about time they start to turn that around a bit. 24-17 Cats, they got the better defense here. I think that'll push them through tomorrow in Lexington and give Bowden another win.
Goal Sheet says CATS, Cats win it in Lexington over Tennessee. One more SEC game and then 2 from the Big 12. Georgia and Missouri. Georgia 16.5, 17-point favorite at home in Athens against a Missouri team that just hadn't done anything since they beat Ole Miss a few weeks ago, and they haven't done anything all year on the road.
No, they haven't. And there's one thing you might think here, maybe a little letdown for Georgia. Played really well against Florida last week. Before that game, and maybe the Arkansas State game back in September, Georgia really hadn't put 60 really good minutes together. Let's see if they can sustain that next week. I thought this was sort of a potential flat spot for them. Missouri's had a week off. I don't know about Kelly Bryant's status tomorrow. If he's out of there, they got to go with the backup Powell. That might be a problem, though they would circle the wagons around Powell. We gave Missouri a chance. This is not one of our favorite games of the week. We had a 28-17 Georgia, just thinking there might be a bit of a letdown in Missouri. After being embarrassed, might have just enough to go in there and slip inside that big number. We'd want Bryant in there, though, and they better play better than they did against Kentucky because that was a beatdown a couple weeks ago in Lexington.
So 28-17 Dogs the week after the big cocktail party win for them over Florida. We got to get in the hurry-up, no-huddle offense here, Bruce, real quick. Oklahoma, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas from the Big 12, and a college game we may have not gotten to that you really like.
Too many points there for both these teams to be laying. Oklahoma defense really was strafed a couple weeks ago by Kansas State. Iowa State's got a great dog mark from Matt Campbell and the quarterback to make it work. Take the points. So we had Oklahoma 38-30. Kansas State could beat Texas. Tom Herman ought to ask Shaka Smart for some help with this defense. They continually fade in the fourth quarter. They can't come up with big stops. We're hearing some division there between offense and defense in the Longhorn clubhouse. Ranked team getting points against an unranked team, that's a pretty good play. We'll take Kansas State to maybe even win that thing outright. So we'll take Kansas State there. And one more, you said?
One more you really love from college football that we haven't gotten to.
I'll tell you. I will. This will be in the Big Ten. Michigan State should not be laying 14.5 right now. The game has passed Mark D'Antonio by. If he doesn't, this is against Illinois tomorrow. And by the way, Lovey's playing pretty well. Got Illinois playing well. If D'Antonio doesn't upgrade this offense in the offseason, he might as well retire. They are playing Stone Age football. 14.5. Are you kidding me? Michigan State's going to have trouble winning that game. So we're going to take Lovey. I haven't said that too much, but let's take Illinois tomorrow.
Illini plus all those points. You like them straight up?
Yeah, I think they can win this game straight up. That might be a money line play down in Tunica or down on the coast if you can get down there.
Very good. Lovey Smith and Illini straight up against Mark D'Antonio. A couple from the NFL, Buffalo and Cleveland.
Cannot lay points with Cleveland. Buffalo's schedule is broken extremely well. They have wins over 5 teams with a combined record of 5-37, but you can only play who you put in front of you. I think there's problems in Cleveland. I think this locker room is fracturing. I think Freddie Kitchens was a big mistake. Buffalo is the antithesis of Cleveland. No drama, solid defense, solid coaching, and a quarterback that doesn't make many mistakes in Josh Allen. 22-17 Bills in Cleveland.
22-17 Bills and Tennessee Titans against the Chiefs. That game at noon in Nashville on Sunday.
Looks like Mahomes is going to play, although they haven't announced that officially yet, but the point spread has moved that way. I think even with Matt Moore in there, I'd take Kansas City. Tennessee. Tennessee looked like it was using Vanderbilt's playbook last week. It was clueless. You give the ball to Derrick Henry only 2 times in the first half. Are you kidding me? Against Carolina, I'm not sure they're making any progress with Tannehill. Kansas City with Moore or Mahomes is a gold sheet key release tomorrow.
Kansas City pretty big over the Titans on Sunday. Bruce, tell our listeners how they can get more information from the Gold Sheet since 1957, the great info from the Gold Sheet.
Thanks, Brad. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. Hey, basketball season's here. You know that. Dave's doing that game tonight with Memphis over at FedEx.
Who you like?
Yeah, I'll take Memphis, and I think UIC's not bad, though, but I'm going to ride Memphis for a while here. And a lot of other games tonight. So they've hit college basketball has hit like a storm, and we got all that in there every Thursday. So yesterday, the new BGS hoops. Monday, Gold Sheet football. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. My picks up there, as well as VegasInsider.com. Our NFL picks 42-24 this season.
Bruce, you are the best, and we love the storm time of year, don't we?
Oh man, everything's happening. November is the busiest month of the year. That's for sure.
It is. Bruce, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll visit again next Friday.
Okay, Brett, thank you.
You got it. Bruce Marshall with the Gold Sheet in Las Vegas. Again, Western Kentucky straight up over Arkansas. That would be, well, we know what that would do. I love telling you about Jason's Deli. I love going to Jason's Deli. It's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Jason's Deli, all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwich, healthy kids meals, whatever you'd like there. All the great salads like the Mesa chicken salad, the Nutty Mix-Up salad, the Big Chef salad. When I say big, there's a lighter portion, that's plenty of food, and the original portion, that's a lot of food. The chicken Caesar salad, the taco salad, and all the great soups. The seasonal soups like the beef stew, they have it at Jason's Deli at all these locations in our area, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And don't forget about the catering. Anytime, anywhere, no order too large for all the events we're going to be going to really over the next 60 days or so. The fun, festive time of year. Let them do the catering. Let them do the work for you for that office party, any engagement, any events you have. Let Jason's Deli do it. If you're in the restaurants, wrap it up with the free ice cream in all the locations. Again, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. They like to say it's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. You can check them out online at jasonsdeli.com. When we come back, We wrap up hour number 1 with John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. They have a very special guest Monday night at the Hilton. It's Coach Jeremy Pruitt of the Tennessee Vols, who has a big game this weekend. That's next. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Drew Barrett on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
When you're in need of quality jeans, shirts, and boots, think Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Frontier has thousands of square feet of merchandising at everyday low prices. Tons of jeans by Carhartt, Wrangler, and Ariat. Whether you're after classic denim jeans, dungarees, or work pants, you'll find them among Frontier's amazing selection of stylish modern fits. Flame retardant jeans and shirts now available as well. Colder weather is on the way, and Frontier is prepared with overalls, coats, and fleece jackets. Women's Sherpa jackets by Simply Southern starting just $29.99. Don't forget the boots. Frontier boasts dozens and dozens of styles of boots, work, dress, or play. Come try on the latest boot trends as well as proven classics, Ariat, Durango, Dan Post, and many, many more. You are guaranteed to find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Ben Swinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
On Monday night at the Memphis Touchdown Club, Coach Jeremy Pruitt of the Tennessee Vols, he will be here. He will either be here after a big win over Kentucky. It'll be the third straight win for him, and that'll get him to 5 wins, just one away from bowl eligibility. Maybe really prime for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on New Year's Eve afternoon, or he'll be coming to Memphis on Monday night after a tough loss to the Kentucky Wildcats that need it just as badly, and heading into an open date for Tennessee regardless if they win or lose. Looking forward to visiting with Coach Pruitt Monday night. John David Bedour, I know you're excited about it, and all our listeners can find out more at tdcmemphis.com. That's tdcmemphis.com for Coach Pruitt on Monday night. Good afternoon, John David.
Good afternoon, Stats. You gave my whole speech there, man. Thank you.
I know you got more.
Here's the deal. We are selling tickets like crazy, selling tables. So if you want to go, you do need to go to the website and sign up. TDC Memphis, TouchdownClubMemphis.com. and do it. If there's any problem, look, you can call me personally. My number's 486-8222. 486-8222 if anybody has a problem. And Stats, we look forward to you joining us Monday night, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. You know I'm a big fan of Coach Jeremy Pruitt, and you know why. I'll tell our listeners. My middle nephew was a 4-year student manager at Alabama, and his favorite – he loves Coach Saban, but I think his favorite person in the whole Alabama operation was Coach Jeremy Pruitt, and I want to be there Monday night and tell Coach Jeremy Pruitt, man-to-man, just how very special he is to us and to our family. And I know the Tennessee fans are looking forward to it. And, John David, the Tennessee fans, you've been through a lot, but darn it, man, y'all are loyal. And if you can get a win tomorrow, I think you headed to a bowl. And I know Monday night it would make it even more festive for Coach Pruitt.
It will be, and it's a Slavic thing. We've got one other thing also Monday night. Father Viron, who's been our chaplain priest forever, is going to turn 94 next Wednesday.
Wow.
So we're going to have a little something special for Father Viron. He's truly a great man. And
he sure is.
And look forward to that. Let me tell you about our player.
Okay.
Guys, the number 3 in the state of Tennessee. Solid 4-star. This guy is a player. Omari Thomas, Briarcrest Christian School. He's just fantastic. I mean, he can play offense. He can play defense. He wants to play defensive tackle in college. And I think you're looking at just like Michael Orr, an NFL player.
Yeah, I think so, and that's the prospects for him. That's a very high bar because Michael Orr had a distinguished NFL career, playing in 2 Super Bowls, playing on a winning Super Bowl team in one of them. But I think that's a lot of the comparisons for Amari. So he will be the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Player, featured High School Player of the Week. The Father Viron festivities for his birthday this week, and Coach Jeremy Pruitt again, TDCMemphis.com. Give your number again, John David, just in case people want to call you and get ticket information.
Call me anytime. 486-8222. 486-8222. Would like you need to go and sign up online. If you just try to walk up, I can't guarantee you a seat.
Now I'm very partial, but I'm very partial, but I do think Jeremy Pruitt has made this team better since that disaster on opening day, John David, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't be any more depressed after Georgia State beats Tennessee, and then we lose the close one to BYU, and it looks like we're just headed toward a disastrous season. We turn it around against Mississippi State in South Carolina, and now we can finish winning the last 3 and have a good season. And then you go back and look, well, what if we'd have won the first 2? We'd have had 9 wins.
That's right.
So,
Now, I know Tennessee fans aren't used to this, and most fans don't want to hear it. But in the losses, except for Georgia State, in the losses, I think you could be very proud to have that team competed most of the game against Georgia and most of the game against Alabama and even Florida.
Right. And you know what? The team needs to – Juwan Jennings, number 15, I think the team is taking on his personality about being a fighter, and we're going to find a way to win the game. Or when you're severely outmanned with Alabama or Georgia, that you're going to compete hard.
Back at the Hilton on Monday night, Veterans Day, Monday night. A lot of people have the day off on Monday, so plenty of chance to get by there. You won't be leaving work later. Monday night, November 11th, Touchdown Club at the Hilton. Coach Jeremy Pruitt of the Tennessee Vols, TDCMemphis.com. Amari Thomas from Briarcrest being honored. Father Viron should be honored every week, but especially when you're turning 94. John David, I look forward to seeing you Monday night. Thank you, and thank you for being with me today.
Let me give you one thing in the future. On November 25th, we've got Barton Simmons coming in. He's the National Director of Scouting for 24/7. He knows about recruiting all over the country and the top players and what's going on. And mark that on your calendar, Monday, November 25th. That's the Monday before Thanksgiving.
And we will talk about it next Friday with you, John David. Thank you for your time. It's really been fun
buddy.
talking
We'll
to
look
Touchdown
forward
Club.
to seeing you Monday.
You got it. John David Brewer with the Memphis Touchdown Club. Great event coming up Monday night. And winning makes everything more festive. And if Tennessee wins, it'll be more festive Monday night. And if they don't, Coach Pruitt goes into his open date trying to recruit and get ready for the last 2 games on the road at Mizzou and at home against Vandy neither of those will be easy. Mizzou, much different team at home, and the whole Vandy thing the last few years with Tennessee and the Commodores. So it's not easy for Tennessee. They had quite a hole to dig out of after opening day. When we come back, we start hour 2 every Friday talking with Peter Edmiston from The Experience with C.J. Hurt, heard every morning on these airways from 7 to 10 a.m., also with The Athletic. We'll talk all things Grizzlies and all things NBA. That's next to start hour 2 on this Friday afternoon, November 8th, 2019. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Drew Barrett on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Fiveash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Williams Equipment Supply is your homegrown, locally owned Bobcat dealer in the Mid-South. And with Bobcat's leading technology backed up by our staff of factory-trained parts and service techs, contractors get their work done efficiently and profitably. Whether you prefer to rent, lease, or own, Williams Equipment Supply has what you need at a price you can afford.
This is Sam Watson, your Memphis area Bobcat specialist. Call me at 901-326-6429 and let me help you get the equipment you need to get the job done.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Dave is out today. He will be back with us on Monday from Portland, Oregon, where he will call the Tigers and the Oregon Ducks on Tuesday night in Portland. Tonight, he is at FedEx Forum, where the Grizzlies will play the University of Illinois at Chicago. The Flames at 6 o'clock at FedEx Forum. Tonight in Orlando, the Grizzlies play the Magic at 6 o'clock. I don't think we ever got to one last year, Drew, where they both won on the same night, did they?
No, I can't recall. I think we checked, and it's been a couple years since the Tigers and Grizzlies have both won on the same night.
Got a good chance tonight. I know with one downtown at FedEx Forum, I think that'll be a win, and see if the Grizzlies can do it on the road in Orlando tomorrow night. The Grizzlies back home at FedEx Forum against the Dallas Mavericks. Talk the NBA and the Grizzlies with us. He joins us every Friday, Peter Edmiston, from The Experience every morning with C.J. Hurt, 7 to 10 a.m. on these airwaves, and The Athletic covering all things Grizzlies and the NBA. All right, Peter, we know the good so far in this very, very, very embryonic stage of the Grizzlies' 1920 season. It's Ja, it's Brandon Clark, it's Dylan Brooks. We know the good. The one bad, and I'm starting to really get concerned, what's your panic level? What's your concern level? What's your bad on Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Well, there's no panic, zero panic level. I don't understand that reaction at this point at all.
Okay.
I think concern is fine, but there's so many things that go into mitigating this that, to me, it's a little. I've seen a little bit of this hyperbolic, overwhelming reaction. It's a little too much. Like, you can be concerned for sure. The foul situation is still a problem, and that's something that you would expect to be better at this point. I think there's no question about that. The other night when he was just out there, coming back from his minor knee injury, and he was just sort of running around. He just wasn't even really 0 for 5, no score, just kind of just a guy. That you don't like to see that. But remember, we're talking not even 70 games as a professional. We're talking a month younger than John Morant, 3 years younger than Brandon Clark. A lot of wheels left to turn. A lot of miles presumably still left to spin on the odometer. So, if you get to the point of, at the end of this year, nothing has changed, then, okay, now I think you can start to be very concerned. He's not acclimated to this offense particularly well. He seems as though, for whatever reason, mixing him with Jonas Valanciunas in this system, one of them has to kind of take a back seat, and it's been pretty much Jaren for the most part. So, that's definitely something that needs to be tweaked for sure. But panic, no, he's a month away from being right back where he needs to be. If he gets it together, could be as early as tonight. I don't think it's. I think it could be a very quick fix if they tweak a few things.
If by some catastrophe, on or off the court, in 2 or 3 years, he's not a primary piece to the Memphis Grizzlies puzzle, what would that do long term to this franchise? He almost has to work. We can't miss with John and Jaren, can we?
Yeah, it would be huge. It would be a big problem, certainly. But again, that's true of just about anybody. That's true of any team that's out there. When you get picks 4 and 2, and if they don't work out, you're not going to be very happy. That's a recipe to do what the Kings have done. It's a recipe to do what the Wolves did. If you consistently miss on those picks, I think here's the other thing I would say, Brett. The understanding of why Jaren Jackson is considered an elite player. This is something that I think is, I don't know, not fully understood or not fully appreciated by a lot of casual fans. He's going to be an elite player not because of his offensive game. He's going to be an elite player because of his defensive game. And his defensive game is not always going to jump out in the way that John Morant's offensive game will. It just won't. His ability to guard multiple defenders, or guard multiple offensive players, his ability to guard across the perimeter, his anticipation, his ability to, when he's not getting into foul trouble, to defend. He had a play against the Lakers a week and a half ago where he takes Anthony Davis, who is, in the MVP discussion this year, having a great year. Anthony Davis drives to his left, getting all the way to the basket. And Jaren Jackson is stride for stride with him, jumps up, challenges him, and blocks his shot at the rim. No one else can do that. There's probably 2 or 3 guys in the NBA who can take him all the way out to the perimeter, have the same level of length, have the same level of athleticism, can do those things with an MVP-type guy in Davis and stop him. So that stuff's still there. They didn't just stop. He didn't stop being, extremely talented. Things have to be tweaked. He's got to stay on the floor. He's got to not commit the dumb fouls. It would be nice if he was more offensively involved, all that stuff. But, this franchise, if Jaren doesn't develop into an elite offensive player, but does so defensively, this franchise will be fine. They will win games, and they will be very, very good. If he develops into an elite offensive and defensive player, then they could win championships. That's kind of the difference.
Well, and I'm not panicked at all about Jaren Jackson. I haven't even been very critical of him. But there are plenty out there that are very critical of him. I just think a lot of it is 20 and the acclimation to the new team. One thing I would like to know, Peter, as best you can report this summer, how much kind of hand-to-hand combat did that staff spend with him? Because I did say at the end of last year, we can't waste a summer. We can't throw away any time on his development. Can you report, do you know that it was intense with him instruction this summer, a big man coach or just that coaching staff?
I mean, they were in lockstep with him as far as all that goes. They can't do, team training in the off season by rule, CBA stuff. You can't really coach guys in the off season. That's a violation. But what you can do is kind of be aware, kind of put together a framework of what you want a guy to do. You can, kind of check in with his trainers and stuff and all that. You cannot instruct him, so they can't do that. But by everything I heard and everything I was told and everything I saw was that everything that they wanted to do, he was doing. And he was doing it at a very high level. He was working very hard. No one had I didn't hear a whisper of a complaint about anything that happened. So I think he's ready. He developed a lot more ball handling ability. I mean, he's driving the ball really well. Again, he's just in a little bit of a funk. That happens to guys. And it's more prominent on the offensive end. People notice it more on the offensive end. His defense has still been pretty good this year. People talk about and guys are going to have great success. And there's going to be some really, really great players out there. But when you're great on the offensive end, it makes a lot more headlines than when you're great on the defensive end. And the same is true on the opposite side when you struggle.
Tonight against Orlando in Orlando, tomorrow night a back-to-back against Dallas. Nobody likes back-to-backs. They have fallen into more favor with more rest. They give them more time in between them, better travel, the modern NBA. Peter, they just really don't want to play 82 games, do they?
Well, here's the thing. I think this is one of the most oversimplified discussions that we have as just a collective society. This talk about load management and resting and eating, all that. I think at the end of the day, there are compelling arguments to be made on both sides, but people are arguing alongside each other, and then they're arguing right past each other, but they're not ever really talking to each other. Because it's something that is 82 games is just a number that they put together 40 or 50 years ago, and there's no magic bullet to it any more than there's a magic 162 or what. And we've just done it this way.
NFL even talking 17.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL's, just itching to get to 17 or 18 or something else. There's no reason why it absolutely has to be that. It's not like soccer where you play every team home and away, and that's why you have 38 games if you have 20 teams in the league. That makes mathematical sense. This is just a formula that's pretty arbitrary, and they could change it if they wanted to. I get it from the fans' perspective because you buy tickets and you are sold tickets on the basis of 41 home games, and each of those 41 home games is going to be as competitive as the next one. So, your team is going to try, by God, to win every game against whoever it may be as much as they possibly can because they want to make you happy. Well, the reality is that long-term success sometimes comes with short-term setbacks. If you want Ja Morant to be the longest-term success he can be, you want to ease him into a certain level of load, and that may mean that he plays, a little bit less one night or a little bit more the other night or something like that. That's entirely consistent with a team wanting to have long-term success, but it's inconsistent with what you've sold the fans of that team when they buy season tickets or when they buy a ticket to a particular game expecting a particular product. So for me, both sides of this thing have logical points. I get it from the team perspective. You want to be careful. And the other thing we don't talk about, Brett, is all the people that talk about basketball in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all that stuff. Okay, there's a lot of great stuff. If you go back and watch those games, there's plenty of reasons why it isn't like it is now. The physicality that everyone talks about is true to an extent in the one-on-one matchups, and it's true to an extent when people drove to the basket in certain situations. Where it's not true is coming off screens. There were not very many off-ball screens, dribble handoffs. Those kinds of actions were not nearly as prevalent as they are now.
The high pick and roll.
The high pick and guys are, because of the nature of defenses and the way the illegal defense was called then and is not called now, the movement side to side is totally different. The amount of exertion that happens on the floor, the pace of play, back and forth, that stuff is totally different than it was. I went back and watched just the other day, just for my own edification, to recall I picked just a random Bulls-Bucks game from 1991 that was on WGN back in the day. It was like November 4th or something, 1991. And I watched a big chunk of it. It was a different sport in large part. And when you take the highlights out of it, what I saw a lot of Michael Jordan. He had like 46 that night, but I saw a lot of Michael Jordan taking Kobe and Westbrook type shots and missing them. I saw, the Frank Bukowskis of the world. I saw the Alvin Robertsons of the world, in his advanced years doing just some kind of okay stuff. Like
Frank Bukowski had a great throw, though.
He did. Oh, he did. Go back and watch those games and see what the actual game itself was. The game you're watching now is different. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. And the load is different, and we can measure it differently. So, of course, there's going to be things that teams want to do to maintain long-term success.
So far through 7 games, the start for Taylor Jenkins.
I think it's hard to say because of the nature of the rotations and the who he's got to work with, and the fact that he is dealing with limitations on certain guys' minutes, and he is in kind of an exploratory mode to some extent with backup wing positions and figuring those sorts of things out. But with that kind of caveat in place, I think offensively, when it works, the system is really a fun one to watch and a fun one to be a part of. You saw it on Wednesday. I mean, obviously, you're not going to hit 52% from three and 57% from the field very often if you're the Grizzlies. But when you get a little better than 30 and 35%, it looks pretty good. And there's a lot of guys that are really enjoying it. And he's getting the most out of Ja Morant. His system really allows Ja to express himself, and they've kind of built around his incredible ability to see the floor and make those passes. Players seem to like him. They seem to like playing for him. His energy is good and all that. So, I think I think there's a lot to be optimistic about.
Do you think he's girded for the potential of the 19, 20, 21 win season? If that is, does he really know what this is going to look and feel like, say, 5th of March?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's very difficult to say because who is when you haven't done it before.
You just get your brains
the guy
beat
that
out.
It's one thing to be on a staff. He was with Mike Budenholzer, and those teams have been pretty well in Atlanta and Milwaukee, pretty well successful. But they struggled a little bit at the beginning. But even when you're an assistant on those kinds of teams, you don't have to be the one that fronts up every game. You don't have to deal with all the different media stuff that you have to do and answer the same questions about this guy and that guy and the struggling and all that stuff. So we'll see. That's one of those things that only time will tell. Once you have done 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 of these pre and post and everything else interviews, it does start to wear on even the most experienced coach. So we'll see how he goes by then. But so far, so good.
4 games between now and the next time we will visit with you next Friday, but we will be listening to you and CJ every morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on The Experience with CJ Hurd. That's how we're going to be listening to you and CJ. I think sometimes on the promo it says The Experience, and there's a long delay before we get in with CJ Hurd.
I tried to make it longer, Brett. They didn't listen to me. So, but that was one of my tips. I said, can we make my name louder and bigger and make CJ's like a little bit smaller and maybe like a little bit more delayed? So that's just one of my tips right there.
Orlando tonight in Orlando, Dallas tomorrow night in Memphis, San Antonio Monday night in San Antonio, Charlotte on Wednesday night before we visit again before Utah and the Grizzlies next Friday night. Peter, have a great weekend. Thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, next week is the Mike Conley return. A very, very big game indeed.
Very big game next Friday night. Thank you, Peter. Have a great one.
All right, thanks, Brett.
Peter Edmiston from The Experience with C.J. Hurt, heard every morning from 7 to 10 a.m. on these airwaves. This weekend, you're going to watch all these games. Keep up with the Tigers this weekend. Maybe before you go to the Tiger game tonight, you still have time, go to one of the commissaries, either the Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar or the original commissary in Germantown. Memphis-style barbecue, and boy, is that a fact. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, delicious and authentic. Begin your barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. The smoked chicken wings are fantastic for game watching tomorrow, for NFL Sunday. Get plenty to go. You can dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. It comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack, and we often give away 6-packs of barbecue at either the Collierville Commissary or the Germantown Commissary. 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown in great party areas. You can order to go, catering, tailgating, and it's never too early. In fact, it's time to start thinking about getting in your order now for the 36-hour holiday bird. The Germantown and Collierville Commissary, where Walker Taylor has done it the right way. And also don't forget about the best lemon ice box pie anywhere and the terrific banana pudding at the Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy or the original at Germantown Commissary in Germantown. We'll talk high school football with Glenn Rogers coming up. It's going to be cool out there tonight at high school football. Should be perfect weather tomorrow, a little bit warmer in Oxford again. We come on there with pregame at 1 o'clock, kickoff at 3 o'clock. And I know tomorrow most people will be transfixed on the Alabama-LSU game where quite literally the eyes of the country will be on that game with the president there tomorrow. I can't imagine what getting in and at the flow of getting in and out of the stadium, in and out of Tuscaloosa, what that will be like. Even if you have one of the better parking places anywhere near the quad or the stadium, it's not easy getting in and out of Tuscaloosa on game day. So I would tell anybody in our area headed that way, you better leave early because it's going to be quite a scene tomorrow for number 1 versus number 2 in the Associated Press, Alabama against LSU, with a lot on the line. Joe Burrow against Tua, maybe for the Heisman. What percentage do you think Tua will, when after we've watched the game tomorrow, what do you think we will deem Tua played that game at what percentage, Drew?
I'm thinking we're probably going to see him about 80%. I don't think Nick Saban would drag anybody, would have him be playing this weekend if he wasn't at least 80, 85%. Maybe it's even higher just due to the fact that, can't really risk the whole season knowing especially how Alabama has lost the game before and still gotten into the college football playoff to where it's not really live or die situation where as for LSU, it probably is to win the game. So I think we're looking at Tua probably going to be about 85, 90%. I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to go 85.
There was a time that tomorrow would have been really big. I think it's still pretty big for Will Muschamp. But if Appalachian State had remained undefeated, they go into Williams-Brice Stadium tomorrow night to play South Carolina. Now with that loss to Georgia Southern a few weeks ago, they're 7-1 to play South Carolina 4-5. I don't think Will Muschamp is any job security trouble, but he doesn't need to lose tomorrow night to Appalachian State, and he sure doesn't need to get blasted by them.
No, he doesn't. And if App State wins the game, I think it opens up a whole new conversation for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State to where, yes, they've lost the game. They have the same record as Memphis, SMU, and Cincinnati, but one thing that that App State has over SMU, Memphis, and Cincinnati is they've got 2 Power 5 wins, while Memphis, SMU, and Cincinnati only has one. And while Memphis will hopefully, if they win out, have beaten Cincinnati, which would be another ranked team. Now, actually, if you're going off the CFP, Memphis would have beaten 3 CFP ranked teams. But you also have to bring App State still into the discussion because they did beat North Carolina and South Carolina. And for a group of 5 school even losing a game, and they're still left out of that group of 6 representative conversation, it kind of opens up to the door of, well, if we're not in the American, which is clearly the best group of 5 conference, then we're not really playing for anything at all.
Cincinnati will have no trouble with UConn tomorrow, and I don't think Boise State will have much trouble late tomorrow night at home against Wyoming. SMU against ECU tomorrow morning at 11. San Diego State against Nevada at home in San Diego. That game kicks off at 9:30. Please, I hope that's not on any TV to even tempt me to stay up that late and watch any of that game. In the preseason, I did not have Clemson in my college football playoff Final Four. I was just taking a chance on somebody will get them. Any chance NC State gets them tomorrow night in Raleigh? Not
a chance. They win out. The ACC is just so bad that, I mean, the only other reputable team is Wake Forest, and I don't really think they're that good. They've kind of have gotten to this point the same way as Minnesota has. They've been barely squeaking games by.
360-8255, First Bank phone line. We go to Joe. Good afternoon, Joe.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm great. Just a quick comment on the G5 and the Year 6 representative. If you look at the Sagarin ratings, which have been around, for years, Jeff Sagarin's been doing that. Yeah. Right. The AAC West is actually ranked ahead of both ACC divisions. Obviously, Clemson's an outlier, because they're far superior to any team in both conferences. But to the App State point, App State might actually get a look from the committee if that were to happen. But in reality, wins over Cincinnati, Tulane, SMU, etc., are actually just about definitely better wins than UNC, and honestly probably better wins than South Carolina. But unfortunately, if you look at the first rankings, there's a lot of disrespect to put Cincinnati down at 20 when their only loss was to Ohio State, who looks like they could, beat the Cleveland Browns at this point.
Yeah, but that was some big loss. That was really an ugly loss.
It was, but in fairness, Ohio State destroyed everybody. But I understand what you're saying.
So far they have. And I think, don't you think Ohio State's the number 1 team? Like they got it right?
I think eye test, yeah. I mean, if you go resume, it's probably LSU, but if you're just going off who looks best, it is Ohio State.
And that resume stuff, Joe, I think that resume stuff, I still think we give too much weight to Texas.
My wife's a Texas fan, so I'm still going to call that a really good win if she happens to be listening. No, I agree with you. They lost to TCU. They're a 3-loss team. Could have been a 4-loss team if not for a late field goal against Kansas. This is not, and it's not the same Texas from last year. They graduated 8 or 9 seniors on defense.
It's really Ellinger and nothing else. Yeah,
right, and he's carrying them. He's been awesome. But the current format really is more exclusionary to the G5 than if, let's just say, in theory, they had the old BCS formula and they still use that to get the top 4. You might have seen a UCF in the playoff in 2017, or the Tigers if they were to go undefeated this year. But given that they now have the committee, I mean, it's almost impossible, although I still would like to go back and play a hypothetical of 2016 Houston. They had the win over Oklahoma, who went 11-2, Sugar Bowl champs. They had the win over
Mayfield.
Right, and beat Louisville with Lamar Jackson, a team that was 9-3 and nearly beat Clemson that year. That's the only team where I think maybe they would have had a puncher's chance and probably would have deserved to have those wins. But unfortunately, they go and lose to SMU. Tom Herman's out. We beat them the last game of the season. Never got to see it. But I really believe that would have been the one team that had a shot.
They did have a shot. Joe, have a great weekend. We appreciate you calling, and I agree with you. That Houston team was a special bunch. Love telling you about Williams Equipment Supply. They're your homegrown, locally owned, #1 in compact construction equipment dealer in the Mid-South. They've represented the Bobcat Company for 50 years. Bobcat is the industry leader in compact loaders and excavators. Support American manufacturing. Buy, lease, or rent the Bobcat equipment. Williams Equipment Supply with the largest compact equipment dealerships in the Mid-South, 9 great locations, largest inventory of equipment, attachments, and parts, the largest compact rental fleet, the best technicians, and the most locations. Let Williams Equipment put you in the seat of a new Bobcat loader or excavator today. With Bobcat's leading technology and backed up with Williams Equipment Supply staff of parts and service techs, contractors get their work done efficiently and, most importantly, profitably. For a demonstration or more details, call Cody Bumpus, your North Mississippi Bobcat specialist. Cody's cell is 901-508-8739, or Sam Watson, the Memphis area Bobcat specialist. His cell is 901-326-6429. Williams Equipment Supply, the largest compact equipment dealer in the Mid-South with 9 great locations, including one on Highway 6 as you're coming in to Oxford from Batesville like I did last night. When we come back, we visit with Glenn Rogers and talk high school football. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and Drew Barrett on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. With a family coming home for the holidays, are you going to be running out of hot water? Not with a tankless water heater from Conway Services. It may be time for a tankless water heater that never runs out of hot water. Conway Services is making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free, or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. Plus, no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I love successes in business. 20 years ago, a guy named Matt Eflin decided when he graduated from the University of Memphis, he was going to get into the insurance business. And man, did he ever get into it. Now, he's got several offices around the area, all to protect you. The main one is in Bartlett, 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. And the reason Matt is so successful, he's very young, but he's been so successful because he has a unique approach. He tries to have a one-on-one evaluation with each individual to check out their insurance needs. And he specializes in all types of insurance, personal insurance, business insurance. Basically, he sits you down and he asks you whether it's a business or whether it's your home, your family, what's the most important thing you want to protect? And then he figures out your options, collaborates with you, and voila, you're protected. 901-757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn? You bet your boots.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
It's playoff time in high school football. Boy, that happened fast. We were talking about the heat in August and getting ready for week 0 and opening night and Glenn Rogers Jr. All of a sudden, it's playoff time. How are you this Friday afternoon, Glenn?
Absolutely, and good afternoon to all our listeners. It is playoff time, and the weather indicates that, Stats.
It does, and it has the last few weeks with wet ball practice in play a few weeks ago and a few more layers on last week and a couple more on tonight. Now, y'all have a bye this week, right?
Yeah, we have a bye this week. All of our teams in our league have a bye, all 8 teams, and it's good to have a bye. You spend a little quality time with the family and the wife and, my daughter. And so I'm just glad, Coach Austin gave us the day off. We had a good practice Tuesday through Thursday. And it's just a good time to relax and sit back and watch some other teams play and try to get prepared to leg up on next week's game.
And plenty of teams with byes tonight, but plenty going tonight. Glenn, it's the annual time of year where I have my freak out that 1 in 9 teams are in playoffs. I just don't get it. I don't think it teaches them a thing.
Yeah, I hate it. And it's what are you rewarding the team that is 1 in 9? What's the validity? What's behind that? You rewarding the team that had a losing season, and they're in the playoffs. I don't like it. I think a lot of people don't like it. We need to do something about it. We need to revamp the system. I know in our league we did that. The last 2 place teams on both sides got eliminated from playoff contention. So everybody in our playoff bracket all has winning records.
And Glenn, it's not just a losing record at 1 in 9. I mean, I could see maybe a 5-5 team, kind of like at bowl time.
Exactly.
I don't think 6 and 6 really should have a bowl, but we have all these bowls. But at high school football, okay, if you're 5-5 and you're the 4 seed, you got to get on that bus and probably go take that hammering. Okay, but that 1 in 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7 team, I'm sorry that you just didn't earn playoff football.
Exactly, and what's the message you sending to the kids, and what's the message you sending to the fans? Because you and I both know, Stats, that these teams have no chance of advancing.
None.
It's just going to be a total beatdown, annihilation, and some good team might get a kid injured in this kind of type of a game, and so let's eliminate the 1 in 9s and the 3 and 7s and the 2 and 8s, and let's see some quality teams that are 5-5 or 6-5 that may have battled through some injuries this year and squeaked out a winning season, have some playoff contention.
Like tonight, Houston will probably easily roll over Germantown. Cordova 4-6 against Whitehaven. I don't think that'll be a contest for long. Central and Collierville. Do you think that could be a good game?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. Major Wright is a good coach, and Joe Riccone is a good coach, and you got two quality programs going at it, and I think it'll be a good ball game. It's one of those games that may be a toss up because Major is this probably one of his most disappointing seasons this year, losing a lot of kids. As far as not getting eligible, kids transferring in, and then he had some kids leave to go. I think one or 2 guys went to IMG, so it's been a tough year on Major, but he always battles through, and it'll be a good game tonight versus Collierville.
Glenn, not just because of the result, but how much fun last Friday night, that atmosphere, back and forth game. How much fun was Briarcrest MUS?
Oh, it was excellent. You know, it was so good to see, you know, fans coming out and seeing a game like that with so many high quality kids playing, Division I caliber kids playing in that ball game. And, you know, I told you and Dave this early in the year, I thought this was one of the best Briarcrest teams I've seen. And, you know, they didn't, you know, we scored and we got a safety and then they scored. Jabari got loose on us and he punched it in. And then, you know, we kind of ping pong went back and forth and we got a break, we got a turnover and then we scored. And then they showed some resilience coming back. They kept fighting and put some points on the board, and then we finally held on to win the ball game. And, you know, our offensive line, I was very impressed with our running game, Hunter Kinlan, Big Marcus Henderson, our whole line. They did an outstanding job.
You make an interesting point, Glenn, about tonight's game. I don't want anybody hurt for any team. I don't want a youngster on that one, and I don't want a youngster on a 15-0 state championship team hurt. So, you know, it really doesn't matter the record, but you bring up in those classic mismatches, that team that might be having that go for it year and they get a player nicked up tonight when they shouldn't even been out there playing a 2-8 team.
Yeah, you know, why not have a bye? You know, let some teams that may be slightly banged up get a little bit healthy. You know, have a bye. And, you know, then next week is big time playoff football. You know, and you'll see a lot more exciting teams. You know, the games next week will be amped up because everybody have winning records. And, you know, we just need to fix the TSSAA needs to fix the system because this system right now is not a good one when you let 1-9 and 2-8 teams in.
Just some common sense really needs to prevail. Really fair fight tonight. Both teams 6-4. Bartlett against White Station. Can either of these, the winner of this game tonight, could they really think of maybe getting on a roll?
I tell you, both of those teams, you know, great turnaround from Bartlett this year. You know, new coach from Alabama, Tim Jones, the principal over there, and Chuck Bowler, two of my former teammates. You know, it's a great story with Bartlett, you know, coming back to some respectability. And then White Station, we played them 2 weeks ago in the pouring down rain. And I got to tell you, Stats, they jumped on us. We turned the ball over 5 times, but they capitalized. And we had to regroup at halftime and came back. But, you know, White Station has a lot of good athletes, and their coaching staff has done an amazing job with that team this year. And I'll tell you, either one of these teams is advancing. It's going to be scary whoever meets over one of these teams. One of these teams could go deep in the playoffs.
I guarantee you, and I don't know a single person on the Henry County staff. In fact, Glenn, I don't know that I know anybody in Henry County. But I guarantee you that staff is saying, look out for Ridgeway, look out for Memphis Speed tonight when Ridgeway goes to Henry County.
Absolutely. You know, Coach Sutton is a veteran coach. And, you know, Henry County, you know, through the years, they've had some classic battles with, you know, Melrose was in their heyday. You know, they stopped Melrose a couple of times from advancing. And a couple of times when Melrose advanced, they beat Henry County. So, this will be a good matchup for Ridgeway going on the road. You know, anytime you're going on the road in a hostile environment like Henry County is, it's going to be a tough out. And so, you know, hopefully Coach Sutton can get it done tonight. But it's going to be a tall mountain to climb up in Henry County. And
kind of the reverse of that, Covington 8-2. The Chargers, they have to travel to Orange Mound and play at Melrose against the 6-4 Tigers.
Yeah, and the Wildcats.
Wildcats, I'm sorry.
And what a good year, you know, Melrose.
I was thinking Larry Finch and Rodney Robinson, and instead of Wildcats, Tigers came out.
Yeah, you're thinking Memphis Tigers, yeah.
Right.
You know, Cedric Wilson, you know, former Melrose Golden Wildcat, former UT Vol, and Pittsburgh Steelers, done an amazing job revising the team, the community, getting some pride restored back in the football program and in that community. And, you know, Cedric will have his hands full tonight. Covington is a good team. They're 8-2. They're physical. You know, in a game like tonight, the key is going to be running the ball in special teams because it's going to be cold tonight. And so the team that runs the ball well and plays well on special teams will come out with their victory tonight.
Boy, you sound like a veteran coach that's been around it all your life. This time of year, a running game and defense, it travels, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You know, I learned that from my dad, watching him coach, and just a lot of coaches I played for, you know, at Memphis and in my days playing pro football. You know, if you got a running game during this time of the year, playoff time, and a great defense, you can advance further. I remember when I was in the CFL, and this time of year, the weather up there is in the minuses. And so we took pride on making sure we had a solid running game, and we always had a stout defense in Edmonton. And so those two key ingredients has a good recipe for success in the playoffs.
Glenn, when you played up there and you lived up there, could you ever really get used to it?
No, I never could. I mean, it was, that type of cold. It's bone chilling cold. I mean, you talking about
it takes
20.
you over. It's overwhelming.
Minus 10, minus 20 degrees, and it's bone chilling cold weather, and it is. But it's once your drilling gets going as a football player, the weather elements don't get to you. But after that game and at halftime, boy, it's after that game you're ready to get out there and get home to a good warm fireplace.
Oh, I bet, in a big soaking hot tub bath.
Exactly.
Glenn, last Saturday, where were you during game day? You didn't ride in the Batmobile with the King, did you?
I wish I could have. I tell you stats. I was at home watching it, and you know what? I enjoyed every moment of that. It's hats off to our city leaders and ESPN College Game Day, just to everybody that was involved with the city of Memphis. It was. I got phone calls from teammates, former Tigers and former NFL teammates and CFL teammates, just seeing our city like that on display, seeing downtown Beale Street. It was amazing. Then to cap it all off with the national televised game. Just a great day for our city of Memphis, highlighting our city. And Coach Norvell and his staff did an amazing job of getting the boys prepared for the big moment. I really like the idea that Coach Norvell took our guys down there Friday to just enjoy the moment, the College Game Day set up in the moment, and then, capping it all off Saturday with a victory over a tough SMU team.
They will never forget that. The whole weekend, going down there as a team, and then, of course, the festivities Saturday morning. I'm sure most of the team, they had to watch. Coach was down there, but then Saturday night. And you're right about SMU, and they wouldn't go away, would they?
They wouldn't go away. Hats off to SMU and their program.
Yeah.
They got that thing going in the right direction. Shea Bussell, the Texas transfer at quarterback, they got great skilled guys. And I tell you, I got scared there for a minute because, boy, they just wouldn't die, and we tried to put them away, and they just wouldn't die. But boy, I tell you, our offense was clicking on all cylinders, and it's impressive to see when we put up numbers like that on offense.
I know you mentioned you enjoy the open date and you get a chance to kind of reacquaint yourself with your family and do some family things, but I bet you at some point tonight you drop by a high school football game somewhere in town.
Oh, definitely. Now, I always get on the TSSAA website after the game and just look around the state and see who won. And I got friends coaching in other places and seeing their success. And so I'm definitely it's going to be hard to try to get away from a football game tonight, but I think my wife already convinced me. Look, it's our night tonight. Football's next week.
How does Coach Austin and y'all staff tell your players, great win last weekend, but the real challenge, the real goal is ahead of us?
We Monday we had a good film session, broke down the game, went over the things we did good and the things we screwed up on, and so we had a good session Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was back to fundamentals. I mean, it was 3 good days of practice and kids getting out there, getting the kinks out, and just going back to basics and fundamentals, and then not really doing a lot of talking about Knoxville Catholic, our opponent, but shoring up some things that we can do well fundamentally and going over some mistakes we made, because some of the same things we made mistakes on Knoxville Catholic does some similar things.
How do you think Briarcrest responds?
I think Coach Stewart to get his guys up. It was probably a down weekend for him. It was a big game and, a lot riding on the line. But I think Coach Stewart and his staff will do an excellent job of getting his guys rallied. They had all week to get them rallied, to get that game out of their system, because they got a tough Ainsworth team coming in that's riding some momentum. They knocked off McCallie, who was the 1 seed out in the East Division last week, handed McCallie his second loss. And so Coach Stewart and them have a lot to prepare for and get ready for, because Ainsworth is a very good football team.
Ainsworth, a little bit like Texas A&M, they never have budget meetings, do they?
No, they don't. They don't have. They just said, look, we need this and need that, and it's done.
Get 3 of them.
Exactly. Get 5 of them. So it's a good situation that they're in up there at Ainsworth.
They never order one of anything. They
don't.
New blocking sled, and FedEx delivers 6 of them.
And if you see that campus and the facilities and the big aquatic center, it'll blow your mind.
It really will. Glenn, I know this week it's probably not quite the great schedule that next week will be, but the high school playoffs, indeed, they start tonight. We'll visit about it more next Friday. Thank you for your time, and I know you were proud of the Tigers, and I don't think in the history of scheduling did anybody need an open date more than the Tigers quite literally just have a down weekend after that last week to get ready for a tough next stretch of the year for them.
Absolutely. It's still a lot to play for. We got Cincinnati coming up with the Tigers, and I'm sure Coach Norvell and his staff really coming off that big week. They probably needed this down week to get some guys healthy and just to come down off that high to get the guys refocused again on the task that's coming down the stretch at hand. And so hats off to them and the staff and to the city of Memphis. And it was a great day to be a Tiger last weekend. I was very proud of not just only our team, but the city as well, because I'm a 901 guy till I die.
I know you are. Glenn, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We'll visit next Friday.
Thank you. Go Tigers, go.
You got it. Glenn Rogers talking high school football with us, part of the staff at MUS for forever and with us for a long time, with Dave and with us, whether morning or afternoon, a long time during football season talking high school football. Look, at Harry's, they know what it takes to get the good shave, and this time of year you're looking for the perfect gift for the holidays. Go to harrys.com, use code STATS at harrys.com, and you'll get a good deal for sure. That's why, Harry's, they don't use any gimmicky features to their razors. They focus on the qualities that actually matter for a close, comfortable shave, and they never upcharge you. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use code STATS at harrys.com. The Harry's Holiday Gift Box. What a gift for that someone special in your life, for our employees, for our holiday parties. It'd be just great to give them Harry's. Go to harrys.com and you'll get that gift box, and you'll have that close shave, the easy glide, the low price. And Harry's is a return to the essential. Quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per blade. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's owns a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making some of the best razor blades for close to 100 years. Harry's has an amazing offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. Go to harrys.com today and look at the travel bags and the other items they have at harrys.com. Use code STATS at checkout to claim your offer. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 2. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hey, it's Flo. And you know what word I've never understood? Top hat. Aren't all hats on top? They're like the toppest part of every outfit, unless I've been doing it wrong. That's why I stick with simple words like Flotection. It means the sense of security you'll feel when your new home is protected by home insurance through me and Progressive. Also, there shouldn't be a top hat unless there's a bottom hat. Wait, is that what underwear is?
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Very sad to report breaking news, blockbuster breaking news, and I wish it was from the Onion, but it's not. It's from Woj. It's a Woj bomb of all time to hit Memphis. If you're driving to FedEx Forum and you're listening to us, be safe. But James Wiseman has been ruled ineligible by the NCAA, immediately ruled ineligible. He has retained famed Memphis attorney Leslie Ballin. The NCAA has determined that Coach Penny Hardaway helped James Wiseman and his family move to Memphis in high school. Is that really breaking news? And they are considering Penny to be a booster. Well, he wasn't then. But we know how it works with the NCAA. One game in, and James Wiseman, number one player in the country last year, has been ruled ineligible. If
they're doing it now, shouldn't this have came out before he played a game? Shouldn't this came out before the Bahamas? He moved here in 2008 when he was in middle school. I mean, this is something he's lived here for over a decade. And if this was the way the NCAA was going to rule or the way they were leaning, this should have been discussed as soon as he committed and signed the paperwork to play at the University of Memphis, not dragged out to the start of the season, to when we're on a very historic run coming off the number one recruiting class, probably one of the best seasons in Tiger basketball, to get our hopes up like this after game one. That is just, I mean,
it's as cold-blooded operation. Again, I'll tell everybody it is largely funded. No, it is completely funded by member institutions, and I just don't know why or how. Like you enunciated, Drew. Look, he didn't move 2 weeks ago, and there were stories around him not playing in the Bahamas that there was some eligibility issues, and even into the CBU and Lemoyne Owen games of his absence. But then after playing on Tuesday night, well, it was obvious he wasn't hurt, the injury aspect of it, but the breaking news from Woj, the Woj bomb of all time to hit Memphis, and many others now reporting it, and it's on the wire as well. Everybody reporting Memphis outstanding freshman, one game in, he had the fantastic game Tuesday night. James Wiseman ruled ineligible immediately. he has retained the services of Leslie Ballin. Leslie Ballin will play tough, and that's what I would tell the University of Memphis to do. Do not cower a bit. Do not take the defensive position at all. Take them on hammer and tong. Fight, fight, fight. Don't mess around with them. You cannot placate them. You cannot self-police them. You've got to fight them, and then it's almost impossible to fight them. It's like fighting City Hall, but you cannot roll over and play dead against them at all because they're about going to crush you regardless. At least
so you might as well fight for it
because your fans want you to fight.
You roll over and say try to self-police yourself like Notre Dame tried to do, and they threw the book at Ole Miss tried to do, and they still threw the book at them. The NCAA is going to do whatever they want regardless. And I didn't think the NCAA could stab me in the heart worse than they did after the 2008 season, tearing down the banners, taking away the wins. But, this is just a slap to the face to everyone in the city of Memphis that we were going to do this anyways. And 2, we wanted you to see what your season was going to look like. We wanted you to see how good he was just so we could take him away. Take him away before he does that, before he scores 28 and 11 rebounds without even trying. Take him away before you give us that hope. That's what just drives me crazy is that we saw what this year could be, and then the NCAA, knowing they were going to do this, ripped it away from us. And I'm at a loss of words and just so much emotion right now because they just do not care about anything or anybody that they're supposed to be governing.
No, they really don't. It is a cold-hearted bunch, and you can't fight them, you can't comply with them, you can't be agreeable with them, and we know those pinheads all work by the hour, and everything is slow, 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 slow. Look at Mizzou waiting right now on their decision and how long since they appealed for their bowl decision back in the summer, back in June, and they still don't get anything. This is how they play, and I think people will really get enough of it near and far. And as I said during the Ole Miss stuff, I know nobody feels sorry for you when it's trained on you, but it's why really everybody should rally around that team that's in trouble, the other fans, because it could be you with the screaming headlines next time. Hour 2 in the books. When we come back, we only have 30 minutes left. Ole Miss basketball at 5:30. We come back and start our 5 o'clock time. After this, you're listening to Sports Time with Wolo, Stats, and Drew Barrett on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
There's a new commissary in town. In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary. I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, iBuyHouses can get you your money quickly. iBuyHouses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. iBuyHouses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. iBuyHouses.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created MyBlue. MyBlue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and MyBlue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. MyBlue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try MyBlue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
The breaking news, James Wiseman ruled immediately ineligible by the NCAA over the living arrangement he had to play at East High School with Penny Hardaway. The NCAA has declared Penny Hardaway at that time as a booster of the University of Memphis. James Wiseman has retained famed Memphis criminal attorney Leslie Ballin. Look, I think everybody knows that Leslie Ballin's a really good lawyer. One time he got a client off that shot her husband in the back and killed him, and he got her off. So he's a really good lawyer, and I would tell him and them at the University of Memphis, you better fight. Do not try to comply with them. It does you no good. There's no good behavior award with them. They're going to be, the NCAA is going to be repulsed any way you react to them. It's unbelievable that this is the tribunal that colleges bankroll to administer things, and all they really have is that men's basketball tournament that makes them money. That's it. They've kind of finally wormed their way in a little bit with the college football playoff. It was one of the reasons I was opposed to it, because I didn't want them getting their stinking hands on it. For all the people that don't like the bowl guys out there in their garish blazers and, running around town to town, I'd a lot rather have them involved in my sport than I would those pinheads, those paper pusher bureaucrats in Indianapolis. It might as well be the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C. running college sports, and that's how they run it, and they pick and choose on who's in trouble and who's not. With Missouri waiting this long for their case to be meted out, and others, what they did to Notre Dame was almost unbelievable. Notre Dame self-policed, said, here's the evidence. They would have never found it on their own, never, to Notre Dame, and they treat them like that. I know there's a lot of reaction. We were going to have a really short show anyway. We're out at the bottom of this hour for Ole Miss basketball, and we have some other things we got to get in before we get out today, but I know there's going to be a lot of conversation about this around town. I don't blame you for being irate. We share your anger.
Oh, I surely do.
As Drew very well stated, look, if they knew this and been setting back on it, why spring it now? Why spring it on the team and the town during one of the best weeks the university has ever had? There were a lot of rumors out there a few weeks ago about eligibility issues, and I hear all this stuff, and with a lot of it, I kind of try to consider the source. Sometimes it's ginned and motivated by fans of other teams in and around the area, just kind of wanting to pick a fight and be fans of other teams in the area. And I didn't think much of it. I didn't think much of the injury stuff. It didn't bother me at all when he didn't play in the Bahamas. What of it? When he didn't play against CBU, it didn't alarm me that much. It did against Lemoyne-Owen. And I had someone that I really, really trust say he thought, and I'm not making fun here, he said there's some smoke. I know the term this year is all the smoke around the team, but he said I'm afraid there's some flame with this smoke. And then to play opening night, I thought probably, in the compliance world and checking everything twice, and not twice, you check everything 222 times on eligibility stuff because you don't want to give those games back, and you don't want this cloud over your season, and it's definitely going to impact the season. All those picks we did early in the week on what this team would do, and now I would say minimum going to be out a couple of games because they just move so slowly, and they like to do that to you, that slow burn, because now nationally, and Drew, I was, and I'm literally pounding a table. I was consistent about this. I know people loved it when Ole Miss was in trouble. I get it. I get fandom. I get rivalries. I know that, but I said at the time, be careful with too much glee about that because tomorrow the headline could be you. Drew, did I not say that?
No, you did, and I completely agree. You never know when that headline's going to come where you're pointing the finger, laughing at somebody else, whereas you can get a notification on your phone just like the rest of us did 15 minutes ago, and it all comes crashing down.
And the slow boat they put Ole Miss on, just that slow burn, and you fill in all the blanks, because here's what all the blanks get filled in with by everybody else. In college football, 130 teams, 129 teams are saying what I'm getting ready to say. In college basketball, 353 teams, so 352 teams. You know what they're saying? Cheaters. Yeah. Cheaters, told you, knew they were doing that. Something was up. That's what they say. Everybody says, and it's why we need to have a little more solidarity. Yes, on the field, on the court, I know you want to beat that rival, beat that other team. That's sports. That's the way it should be. That is the way it should be. But when the NCAA, when they train that laser on you, and I use that graphic illustration for a reason. When they train that laser on you, you're done. And everybody else needs to come to the aid and the defense of the other team and the other teams, the area teams. I know it is easy to dislike Notre Dame. It's one of the easiest thing out there in sport is the sports hate Notre Dame. They were horribly wrong.
Terrible.
Horribly wrong. What Mizzou's going through, and now what the Memphis Tigers now will start on. We know how this starts, and we know how it ends, and we know in between the highs and lows, are we going to catch a break? Are they going to throw the book at us? I hear this, I hear that. We know how it ends. And then, like Mizzou waiting for the NCAA to basically overrule a decision that they made. They're just not going to do that.
No.
They are, again, start terms I'm going to use here after using laser, and I did qualify sports hate, but they are judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, and I completely agree. It's time that we, as a fan base of college athletics, stop, my team versus your team, and start to band together against
us against the NCAA.
Exactly. I mean, we all have one common foe. We have the NCAA who shows favoritism. Exactly. They're supposed to be on our side. They're supposed to be for us, for the fans, for the players, for the universities themselves, but they do nothing but destroy and obliterate programs for minor offenses, and then try to act all tough. And then when somebody such as North Carolina goes out and commits the biggest academic fraud of all time,
the Holy Grail
they don't
academics.
get touched. And that's
Holy
what
Grail.
drives me crazy, because the NCAA picks and chooses who they want to protect. They pick and choose who gets the special treatment, and the rest of us get the book. We get the wrath. We get the, hey, I told you not to do that, so here's what's going to happen. Duke, North Carolina, other schools. Here's a little tap on the wrist. If anything, it's not fair. And you would think, when, like you said, the NCAA tournament is the only thing, is the NCAA's big ticket, big money. Why would you do this? Why would you go ahead and now instead of before, to where a team that is set to be in a lot of polls, a lot of favorites, to be in a Final Four, to be in NCAA. They wanted to hurt me. That's all they did. They wanted
a
hurt.
screaming headline on a Friday night, and the way this kind of works, we know the drill with how with media and talk radio and all this stuff. You're kind of out there hanging out to dry at 4:45 on a Friday afternoon. I mean, how do you defend yourself then? I mean, kind of the next hour. Monday's a holiday. Kind of the old way. They got to get out there tonight, and Coach Hardaway, I'm sure, will be addressing it tonight, but you got to get out there and defend yourself. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down in DeSoto County, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out their referrals. They have very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. They check out all the cars from head to toe, test drive the cars, and literally bumper to bumper, they check the cars out. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, laid back, down-home atmosphere at DeSoto Auto Sales, where they care about your time and want you to have the ultimate car experience. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County, to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience in DeSoto County. It's time for our Friday football forecast.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life.
Before we make picks, Drew, Jason Munns, our friend that joins us on Wednesday from Commercial Appeal, covers Tigers, he just tweeted out breaking. Attorney says Shelby County Judicial Court judge just ruled to put a hold on NCAA's ineligibility ruling pending further litigation. James Wiseman can play tonight. I'd play him and just dare him. Play him. Shoot the Rapids. Do again, that's part, but I know
they don't want him to play. Come pull him off the court yourself.
But you got to remember, those administrators have been to every NCAA symposium you can think of, and it's Pavlov's dog for them to want to do whatever they can to placate the governing body in Indianapolis. I would say fight, fight, fight. Our first game, Penn State, 6.5-point favorite over Minnesota. You heard Bruce Marshall's breakdown about it. Dave Woloshin, he takes Penn State. He lays the 6.5. I take Minnesota. I take the Gophers straight up 17-14. Who you got, Drew?
I've got the Golden Gophers as well. P.J. Fleck has got that team rowing the boat at 100 miles an hour. I don't know if they win the game straight up, but it's going to be close. It seems like every game they play in is close. So they might win, but they at least keep it within 3, I think.
11 o'clock tomorrow, Baylor, 3.5-point favorite over TCU. I take the Horned Frogs straight up, 21-20 over Baylor. Dave takes Baylor, laying the 3.5. Drew?
I'm going to take Baylor as well. TCU just hasn't looked that great to me this year, and I don't think Gary Patterson's got it rolling this year. It's not going to be his year.
The big one in T-Town, Bama, 6.5 over LSU. Bama wins, but they don't get there with the 6.5. They win, and I don't think it'll be the Big 12 score Bruce thinks it will be, and most are thinking it'll be. It's big for the SEC, 27-23. Bama wins, but LSU covers. Dave takes LSU to cover as well. Drew?
I'm taking LSU to cover. Bama wins, but Joe Burrows looks like a hero, and Ed Orgeron shows that he's here to play. It's going to be a big defensive game. I think it's going to be somewhere around Alabama 17, LSU 14.
Georgia, 16.5 over Mizzou. Georgia gets there easily, laying the 16.5. They win 43-13. That is by 30. Dave takes Georgia as well. Drew?
Group lock, give me Georgia. Mizzou just has looked pretty bad lately.
Last week, we were 2-0 on group lock, 7-10 for the year. Dave's college football lock is BC, laying the 2.5 over the coachless Florida State Seminoles. They need primetime to come in there and play. Dave takes BC, laying the 2.5, and he takes the Illini plus the 14.5 over Michigan State as his shock. Your lock and shock.
My lock, I'm going over to the Pac-12 with the Fighting Herm Edwards at home against the USC Trojans minus 1.5.
Arizona State minus 1.5 over USC, and your shock.
And my shock, I already had it written down, so if Dave tries to say so if Dave tries to say anything on Monday, you can back me up on this. I've got Kansas State plus the point, plus 7.5 at Texas. I think they win straight up as well.
Kansas State plus the 7.5 over Texas. My college football lock, I'm going to go opposite your shock. I'm going to take the Longhorns and lay the 7.5 over Kansas State. They have to have more players in Kansas State, don't they? They should have. And my shock will be the Tennessee Vols. I'm taking both UTs, the UT Longhorns and the UT Vols. Tennessee Vols plus the 1.5 over Kentucky. Tennessee wins the game 27-23. On Sunday, and then in the NFL at 3:25, Green Bay minus 5.5 over Carolina. Carolina straight up 24-20. I don't need the points. Dave takes Green Bay and lays the points. Drew?
Ooh, I'm with Dave here. I've got Green Bay. Kyle Allen's looked good. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is on his way to an MVP, but Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay's been playing great. Give me the Packers.
You take the Packers. Sunday at 3:25, Rams minus 3.5 over Pittsburgh. Both Dave and I take Pittsburgh and get the 3.5 against the Rams. Who do you have, Drew?
I've got the Rams. James Conner is out for the second straight week. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's questionable going into the weekend. So give me Jared Goff and the Rams minus 3.5.
Dave's NFL lock, he has the Saints minus 13.5 over Atlanta. In his shock, he has the Vikings plus 3.5 over the Cowboys. My NFL lock, Tampa Bay minus 4.5, finally at home over Arizona. Battle of two Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, Kyler Murray against Jameis Winston. And my shock, Buffalo plus 3.5. They win straight up. I get double points over Cleveland. The Heisman Trophy winner, Baker Mayfield, not going the right way for the Browns. Your lock and shock quickly, please, Drew.
My lock, I'm committing the golden rule sin. I'm taking the Ravens minus 10.5 at Cincinnati. If the Bengals weren't 0-8 at this point, I probably wouldn't touch it, but give me the Ravens minus 10.5, and I'm with you. I'm going to get 2 points as well. Give me Buffalo plus the points at Cleveland. Odell Beckham Jr. has already said he's already looking forward to next year.
Yeah, Odell Beckham. Derrick Henry has more touchdowns receiving this year than OBJ has. That is too funny. Our Friday football forecast brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas for real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational. Give them a call at 901-498-5763 or visit fnbt.com. We're very sorry to everybody who wants to talk and weigh in on James Wiseman. We're out at 5:30. Time is very limited. We go to Ole Miss basketball at 5:30 between Ole Miss and Arkansas State. But we wrap up this day like we do every day with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
Crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He threw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
Boop, boop, boop. That's what you're getting. Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Drew, we sadly learned today that the worst 4 letters in sports, it's NCAA. Well, I guess it's 3, 2 A's, N, C, and A.
I'll count it as 4.
You know what I mean.
I know.
And, boy, they come calling at the worst time, don't they? And it is heartless. It's cold and it's cruel, and they love it. And that's what most unwieldy bureaucracies do. And I don't know why it can't be reined in by the member institutions that bankroll it. But it can't. What'd you learn today? I know what you learned.
I learned that, but I'm going to go with what I originally had written down. I learned today that Georgia and Ohio State plan to play each other in football once again and will face off in a home-to-home series in 2030 and 31. So scheduling is still now 11 years out. The Georgia now has home and home scheduled with Ohio State, Oklahoma, UCLA, Florida State, Texas, and Clemson. They will also play Virginia and Oregon in the Chick-fil-A kickoff series in Atlanta.
Could have done without the late-breaking news this afternoon, and it came screaming at us, didn't it? And it will – well, right now it's the biggest sports story of the year in Memphis. And it replaces last weekend that I think was the biggest sports story in town. This will be big, and it's not gonna end today. I don't know if he plays tonight. I think he should. If they've got a judge's ruling, send him out there and dare him and fight him. Somebody needs to, and everybody else needs to support him. I know Tennessee and Ole Miss and Arkansas and all the fans, other teams, Louisville out there. I know you're thinking hee, ha, ha. Wrong reaction, because all those I just mentioned, I think you've been under that laser before, and you could be again. And until somebody stands up to them, somebody's constantly going to be hectored by them. And that is exactly what this is. You tell me this couldn't have been administered some during the summer. Again, he didn't just move there a week and a half ago. What is it you could have done without, Drew?
That's exactly what I could have done without it. Just the ball in my stomach that I'm sure everyone around the 901 is feeling, just the hurt and
every sports fan should.
They really should, because like I've said, the NCAA, they're supposed to be here for us, not against us, and we all need to band together to tear down the tyrants of the NCAA. They have way too much power, and they think that they can do anything they want with it, and they just love the screaming headlines, and they love to hurt the fans that keep them in business.
They do, and they have. We'll keep a close eye on this story going forward over this weekend. Blockbuster story again. Biggest sports story that's hit this year is the NCAA ruling of James Wiseman ineligible A judge has ruled that he can play tonight. Game starts in 35 minutes. So we'll see if he plays tonight, and going forward, if the administration will let him travel with them to Oregon, if they'll let him even, he'd be on the bench or play tonight. A lot to keep an eye on. The Tigers tonight at FedEx Forum with a real pall cast over what was such a fun night Tuesday night on opening night for Coach Penny Hardaway's second year. Grizzlies in Orlando tonight, back home tomorrow night at FedEx Forum against Dallas, and we know how tough the back-to-backs can be in the NBA. Number 1 versus number 2 tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. Something will get sorted out. Biggest game of Chad Morris's life. If he wins, he probably gets the next 3 weeks to coach Arkansas. If he loses, he probably gets a $12 million check sometimes on Sunday, because he will be fired if they lose to Western Kentucky, because Bruce Marshall had a great line earlier today. It's one thing for fans to be patient. It's another thing for fans to be embarrassed. In Arkansas, they've been embarrassed by their football program for a while. It is the worst Arkansas team I've ever seen. I'm kind of on upset alert for Clemson. You're not at all, are you?
No, not at all. There's nobody in the ACC that's worth a darn, and there's no way NC State's going to get them.
Tennessee, Kentucky, that's a big one on our preseason picks we did. It's a big one the rest of the way for both of those teams. We'll see how much Jeremy Pruitt's Tennessee Vols have really improved against a tough, raw-boned, rugged Mark Stoops team. That's two coaches, personality a lot alike. The Sunday in the NFL, Kansas City at the Titans. Panthers and Packers should be real good. Rams and Steelers, and we'll be back on Monday to talk about all of it. Ole Miss basketball next with David Kellum and Mark Dukes courtside at the Pavilion. I'm headed over there to watch that game. I know a lot of people are headed to FedEx Forum. Tiger fans, you got to bow up right now. College sports fans, we have to, because the NCAA, they are the only thing consistent about them is the inconsistency. We'll be back on Monday. Dave will be in Portland with a lot to weigh in on. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. Everybody have a safe, happy weekend as much as you can. We'll be back with you on Monday. Ole Miss basketball. It's next on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work, and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
Oklahoma inbounds it, and that's it. The Oklahoma Sooners get the Rebels 95-72.
We're going to be back in NCAA tournaments and be much more competitive.
I like where our team is. We're deeper, more athletic. Probably have more of a look like an SEC team. Excited about the chance of getting going today.
Schuler takes it all the way down the floor. Finger roll, scores! Long pass to Tyree. Pulls for a three. Good! What a bucket! A three in transition.
Ole Miss basketball is on the air. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College in partnership with TeleSouth Communications. Our coverage of Rebels basketball begins with the Countdown to Tip-Off Show. The Countdown to Tip-Off Show is brought to you in part by Mid-South Ford, the Ford F-150, the official truck of your Ole Miss Rebels. ExxonMobil and Blue Sky, proud partners of Ole Miss Athletics. Regions Bank, a proud sponsor of Ole Miss and the official bank of the SEC. By C-Spire, customer inspired. And by Coke's Zero Sugar, real Coke taste with zero sugar and 0 calories. Try one today. Now to courtside and the voice of the Rebels, David Callum.
After a trip to the dance in year one, second-year head coach Kermit Davis is ready to lead the Ole Miss Rebel basketball team into season 2. Tonight is the 2019-2020 season opener here from the Pavilion at Ole Miss. The Rebs will host Arkansas State. The Red Wolves open their season Wednesday night with a 65-49 win over Arkansas Monticello. These two programs have met 30 times on the hardwood, but not since 2010. Hello, I'm David Kellum along with Ole Miss former assistant coach Mark Dukes, and we're set to bring you the action as Arkansas State and Ole Miss are set to battle in Oxford as the Sun Belt meets the SEC. But first, stay tuned with the Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the University of Mississippi, Learfield IMG College Sports Network.
Question. Would you rather refuel while earning Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus points on every gallon? Or would you rather refuel while sitting through my sales pitch for an exciting new timeshare opportunity? Interesting. You'd prefer the points. Well, that's proof. People prefer earning and redeeming with Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus over owning a condo that's actually my shed. Earn points in-store and at the pump with Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus. Sign up today. Terms and conditions may apply. Available at participating Exxon and Mobil locations.
While Mississippi universities compete at football, when it comes to cutting-edge research, they need to work together. That's why C-Spire linked our state's leading research universities together with a 100 gigabit per second fiber infrastructure, working in support of the Mississippi Optical Network. Through the C-Spire Tech Movement, we're empowering schools and universities with the technology to help them lead research and development for a better future. Learn more at cspire.com/mission.
You're listening to Ole Miss basketball on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimandbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Welcome to the Regions Bank Countdown to Tip-Off Show. Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC, and we've got Ole Miss and Arkansas State coming up about 25 minutes or so right here from the Pavilion. If you're in the Oxford area, obviously we encourage you to come on out and catch some Rebel basketball here at the Pavilion. Arkansas State is 1-0 out of the Sun Belt. Mike Bellato, their head coach, 25-40 in his third year. The Rebels opening tonight. We're one of the two SEC teams that have not opened to this point. LSU is playing tonight as well. And Ole Miss, coached by Kermit Davis, in his 25th year as a head coach, he's won 489 games as a head coach on all levels. Here at Ole Miss in his second year, took the team to a 20-13 record a year ago. Ole Miss is opening its 110th season of basketball, and in the past 15 seasons, the Rebels are 14-1 in openers, and the second season under Kermit Davis, who was the SEC Coach of the Year last year. The Rebels will have some home games kind of lined up before we go to Memphis on November the 23rd. Coach Mark Dukes joins me again. We'll be doing most of the games this year. Good to see you, my friend.
Man, it's so good to be back in this place, and I'm just excited, fired up. Look over here at the student section, almost full at 5 o'clock. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's awesome.
Club Red is packed over there, no doubt about it. We're looking forward to it. We got a taste of Kermit Davis last year. Of course, you've known Kermit a long time, and you really had high expectations out of the gate. But, boy, did he not really solidify our thoughts about him as a coach a year ago.
I mean, I think, obviously Coach of the Year in the SEC and one of the top coaches in the nation, to me, without a doubt. And I look at this team this year that's on this floor. I have never seen an Ole Miss basketball team that looks this good getting off the bus. I mean, we've got size, length, athleticism, more than I've ever seen on the court at Ole Miss.
You got some of your former players that are going to give you a phone call. Too bad.
Hey, I'm not saying they're going to be better than those former players. I say they look better.
They look better getting off the bus.
That's right.
This is a series that started in 1925, Ole Miss and Arkansas State. The Rebels lead at 21-9. Interesting enough, it's been since 2010 since we played, even though it's really a close proximity, and we play baseball pretty much every year. Against the Sun Belt, Ole Miss is 68-19 against current members of the Sun Belt Conference. And, of course, Kermit Davis coached at Middle Tennessee State, very familiar with this league. We talk about us, and we're going to get more into it as we get into our broadcast and the game as well. But Kermit's first full recruiting class, it was a good one, Coach Dukes.